Hello again, everybody. I'm going to do a follow-up video. It's funny, I got this Andrew Cadell, and he claims to be foreign relations with the government, CBC writer, and sure, he's articulate, but he goes off to say Canada doesn't have any codified constitution, which is absolutely wrong. Codification is the written law governing your country. That's codification of constitution. And we most certainly do have a federal constitution. Now, we don't have a federal or provincial constitutions. We've never embarked on that. He goes on to further to bring up the Bill of Rights, which I've never ever said the Bill of Rights is encompassed across Canada. The Bill of Rights belongs to only one province, Quebec, as of 1982. In amendment, we adopted a whole pile of amendments, and those 1982 amendments, which we've even amended the Constitution of Canada federally since then many times. I have the best of Canada and the world that will explain to ignorant Canadian public sector employees at top levels of government exactly what's what here. It is sad. It's pathetic. I wrote this paper, and in part of it, I analyze Canada, and I incorporate statistics that I learned in economics for the first time in international law, and I assess how well a country, any country, can do this. After reading the paper, you find out what country you are, what kind of country you are, and you can apply this formula in the paper and put all the checks off of what fits for your country and analyze how well your country will do in international law. And when you do that formula for Canada, 75% of the time, Canada will fail in international law. Did you know that, Canadians? And we know it. We all know it as citizens. We know we're failing because we're not doing too well internationally now, are we? We're losing. We're losing hard. Canada's going down the toilet. And these guys are saying, hey, look, we know what we're doing. You're wrong, you're false. And the basic of even domestic law, they don't even know it. They don't even know what constitutionalism is. 101 constitutional law throughout this entire world. The written law of your country, written, cemented, rules of governance, codification, the big C. Guy says we don't have any. Oh, yes, we do. Federally, we do, pal. And the Charter of Rights and Freedoms for the rest of Canada outside of Quebec replaced the Bill of Rights. Quebec chose to stay with the Bill of Rights. That's just how bad it is when you have somebody in a top position of foreign relations who doesn't even know these very, very basics and had a prominent position with CBC. And they think that they can talk with fancy words and that's going to, if I talk higher and I name call and I put it out there that I have great grammar skills and great vocabulary, that somehow that's going to make my untrue true. It doesn't work that way. And you're only embarrassing Canada more and more, whether that's liberal or conservative, whoever this fella belongs to or where he hangs his hat, does not matter to me. Because the reality is, all you're doing is making a horse's ass out of the Canadian system live on Facebook. But keep on coming, keep bringing it. And I can promise you the best of the world are just shaking their head going, wow, that's what Canada has to offer in international relations. Can't even distinguish the fact that the Charter of the UN, as long as Canada wants to be a UN member state, applies as law in full force, and that the UNSC can do to Canada anything if they violate that charter. And if Canada chose to say, you know what, screw the world, we're out of here, get ready, Canada, because guess what? You're on your own, and your citizens just like the Michaels, it would be nothing. It would be nothing comparable in what would happen if you attempt to travel at a point of being ejected from the UN. Sick, perverse colonialism embedded in our constitutional monarchy through a codification of a very limited federal constitution that allows this to continue, the lies to continue that absolutely are destructive for every Canadian citizen. World history and international law is clear. World international law is clear today. Canada has serious things that they must meet on that world stage. And if they do not, and they continue to alienate that system, they're going to end up underneath it. There's your non-binding laws. These are the lunatics who call me a moron and a lunatic, but yet the basic concepts, they don't even know the terms or definitions, and they hold positions of foreign relations, and they don't even know the basics of international law or the basic premise of law in the Canadian system. They don't even know it or how it works when most of the world does. And you're going to send these people out to represent us with foreign nations, and they just laugh. They laugh, and then we go out with our media criticizing all these nations, and we're the worst of the absolute worst. And it's because of our politicians, and it's because of what we're pumping out in media and the sheer volume of ignorance of that first-class citizen. Unbelievable. Probably from the UK too, because you get away with it in the UK because they are a UNSC permanent member. Canada isn't. And this is the problem. This is why that Five Eyes got to go to the garbage, man. Canadians, we have to start working towards codification, absolute dismemberment and redesign federally, codification for absolutely all the provinces. The sooner we do that, the better we are going to be as a people, united, cemented in reality, and the better we'll be on the world stage, and you'll see the world will work way better for all citizens of Canada, not one class that sells out two classes of citizens, and that can't even acknowledge that Canada exists in class structure. Then and today still, sick, perverse, disgusting. It's what is absolutely Governor General, Lieutenant Governor, all of our senators, absolutely what's overshadowing our courts, and absolute authority. It starts with your Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau is only a shining beacon light on this problem today, getting all Canadians questioning. But don't kid yourselves, it's been here all along. And we hit a point in the world where it was time to end it all. But yet Canada, unlike almost everybody else, hasn't changed and won't move on and won't work in the reality of the international world as it is today. And because of that, we are corrupted, coerced, and just messed with by all kinds of nations worldwide. And why wouldn't they? We're foreign interests or multi-billionaires. Why wouldn't they? Easy pickings. You think people go, oh, I shouldn't take advantage of that country because they don't know any better. No, they're going to take full advantage because it's always about strengthening your own nation's position. We have to codify rules of governance. We have to end the corruption. We have to join the rest of the world since absolutely 1948, but it was cemented in 46. And all of you should look up right now the Charter of the UN. It's on UN.org. Look up the 1945 Charter. Canada was instrumental in its creation. It's bound on every UN nation in this world, including the UNSC. Read it for yourselves. There's much there, much promises that the good people of Canada don't have today. Complete violation. Should Canada even be a member of the UN anymore? I doubt it. They teach you that the UN's bad, but it's how you operate in it that's bad. You're the corruption of the UN. Your country is. That's the reality. Joining forces with, 70% of the UN that is already corrupted. And Canada's one of those corruptions through your politicians, through your political system. That's how it works. Unbelievable. We have these first-class citizens in positions they shouldn't hold, with no knowledge, no real concept of the world, let alone their own domestic legal system. Pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic indeed. That's my rant. Enjoy the rest of your day. Last video, I hope. We'll see. Too many videos is not good either. But share. This one's important. Bye now.